we are back with another video, and here is my 2023 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack Special Edition Swinger with 485 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, 6-speed manual transmission. This could not be further from the new Dodge Charger 6-pack with the twin-turbo inline-6, no manual transmission, and all-wheel drive. So how in the heck is that thing going to succeed if we all have been in love with the V8 rear-wheel drive, tires burning out, doing donuts, fun, insane V8 cars? How are they going to make that leap? Are they going to be able to get us to make that leap? Well, I don't think they will. They won't get the muscle car enthusiasts, the true muscle car enthusiasts. But there is another group of people that I think they might actually be able to attract, and they might actually be able to build an entire new group of supporters and even leave us behind unless they bring out a V8 after that, which would enable them to double down and not only have a true muscle car, and then also have this little tuner thing that I think it's going to be. But let's jump in the car and have this conversation about this new market I think Dodge might be able to tap into. All right, so let's talk about this twin-turbo i6 6-pack that's coming out supposedly in June. We'll see if Dodge keeps their promise and that thing shows up. And there is much more excitement, and that's still not saying much because it's much less excitement than if they were rolling out a V8. But there's much more excitement than what's happened with this Dodge Daytona EV. And that's not saying much either because literally they cannot give away those Dodge Daytona EVs. So a 6-pack is at least a shorter leap from the Hemi than going to an EV. Most of us don't want anything to do with EVs, but the 6-pack is a gas engine. It's something that can be slightly more acceptable to our group, our V8 loving group, but it's still a big, huge stretch. So I think based on the comments I got on my last video, so many of you were saying you are absolutely not interested in the 6-pack, you're not going to buy it, you hope it fails so that they bring the V8. Well, I wanted to address this because I think it's something we all need to consider and think about here, because it's not the muscle car enthusiast. As a matter of fact, this isn't even going to compete with the Mustang when you think about it, because it's a twin-turbo i6. Well, let's look at the closest comparable car to this thing, with all-wheel drive, with a bunch of technology. What is that? Well, one of you did comment on my last video and made the comment of, well, nice BMW, because it totally falls in line with the BMW M3 and M4s, and M3 and M4 comps, which are right around that 500 horsepower range, twin turbo i6s. You can get a manual, though, with the BMW M3, but you can't with the new Dodge Charger 6-pack, which is unfortunate. I think that's a huge miss, something they could have done easily and attracted more people. But my thinking here comes from hanging out with my daughter all the time, and on the weekends we're doing car stuff. We're going to car meets and car events, and you know, while I love the exotics and the muscle cars, she loves the JDM stuff, and she drives a Supra. Well, that Supra is also a BMW. It's heavily built with BMW parts, so it was a collaboration. So she hangs out with all the BMW kids also, which still blows my mind as a Gen X guy, that these kids are like 17, 18, 19 years old, and either they're buying or their parents are buying them $90,000 to $110,000, $120,000 BMW M4 comps, M3 comps for that much money, and then almost instantaneously, and this is a large group of people in Southern California, it's like the BMWs have become the new Honda Civics, but they're 100 grand. But almost instantaneously, they buy these things, they tune them. They immediately tune them, they immediately cut the cats off, they immediately do the exhaust and mods throughout the engine and void the warranties. It's just crazy. And by the way, BMW comes with a pretty decent warranty, even though it's not the most reliable car in the world, based on my experience. Maybe they've gotten better, but you're looking at a 50,000 mile warranty versus Dodge's 36,000 mile warranty, which I hear rumors it's going to be longer on these new cars. We'll see. But my point is if this six-pack comes out in the $50,000 to $65,000 range, whether it's the standard output or the high output version, with the high output version being at 550 horsepower, and the BMW M3s and M4s with the similar powertrain, similar engine, turbo 6-cylinder engines, similar horsepower, that the BMW at $90,000 to $100,000 plus, and the Dodge at $50,000 to $65,000 at the most, fully loaded, let's assume that's what it's going to be, unless they lose their minds and price it way out of the market. These will be the screamingest deals out there compared to the BMWs. And I gotta think there is a large amount of these young people out there that are going to say, wait a minute, that's an incredibly tunable machine. We've been doing it forever with these Turbo 6s with BMW. Now we can do it with a $50,000, $60,000 car, save tons of money, and put the rest of the money into mods. The only X factor is going to be the weight. Right now, the BMW M4, I think, is just around that 4,000 pounds. If they can keep that Charger 6-pack in that 4 to 4,500 pound range, they might have a heck of a chance. Now, it's an enormous car, so I think that's going to be a big stretch. But with the EV being, what, 5,800, 5,900 pounds, and the battery being, 1,300 pounds or something like that, if you do the math, they might be able to scare 4,500 pounds, maybe. We'll see. So who knows? But we'll see what Dodge does with that thing. So if that happens, and they're anywhere close on weight, and you can tune that Hurricane engine by 100 horsepower with a simple tune that you can buy online and do yourself, or take it into a tuner and have it done, you're taking that thing to, let's just say, an extra 100 horsepower without any physical modifications done to the car. So if you take a 550 horsepower Hurricane 6-pack, the high output version, and you can get an extra 100 horsepower out of that thing and take it to 650 horsepower, I think you're going to be attracting all those BMW kids. And that's before they do the exhaust and turbo upgrades and void those warranties and fix the thermostat issues and cut the cats off and do all that stuff. I just think that's a humongous segment of people that they might, by sheer accident, because they're focused on trying to get us, the muscle car people, but I think they might actually end up getting the BMW people. And if they end up getting them, then they can end up having lots and lots of sales of that thing. And that's frankly who they should be marketing to, because it's more of a competitor to a BMW than it is to even a Mustang 5.0. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think that thing has legs with those people. And by the way, they've had BMWs, so they're used to these things breaking, and they're used to having to fix them. So why wouldn't they just go to a cheaper car that, I know a lot of you don't agree, but that looks nice, looks, in my opinion, just as nice as the BMW M4. You put them side by side, it's just a different logo in the front and slightly different shape of the car. But overall, I think they can get past that, throw a lowering kit on that thing, some wheels on it. I mean, you end up having a pretty insane looking machine. But will the V8 people want that thing? Well, I don't know. I don't think so. I think based on just the comments alone, so many of you want nothing to do with it. But this thing could end up succeeding just because of the motor they're putting in it and the tunability of that thing, as long as it's not somehow locked in, you know, they do go to extreme lengths to keep people from being able to do that. But if they can do that, they're going to get a car that's going to be pushing over 600 horsepower, just like these BMWs, that are a lot cheaper. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, and please feel free to tell me if you think I'm nuts on this. But from what I'm hearing out there, there's more excitement in that community than there is in this community for that car. And my hope still is that they realize if they can pick up that segment, then throw a V8 in it and get all the muscle car people back, they will have a trifecta with the EV for the soy latte people. They will have the 6-cylinder to pick up all the tuner kids, and then they will have the V8 for all of us. And Dodge could actually make a comeback as long as they get those prices right and they build something that doesn't blow up right away, which I gotta point this out too while I'm ending this video. The nice thing about the Hurricane engine is it's relatively cheap compared to any BMW engines, meaning if they blow those things, you can buy a new Hurricane for like $13,000, $14,000 from Mopar directly and just have it shipped to your house and put it in. So while, yeah, it's a bunch of money, it's very likely significantly less money than replacing a BMW engine. So I got to think that for that reason as well, it just might become a better option for all these kids and all these kids' parents who are buying them these damn cars. So with that, please like, subscribe, comment, share your thoughts below, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.